What up? It's your boy once again, Agobor for Life, and I'm here again with another brand new episode. And today we're going to discuss something very, very interesting. It has to do with tips on how to excel while going for an interview. You know, honestly, majority of the people that go for an interview, they keep having it difficult because one, maybe because they didn't prepare well enough, or because they don't just know what exactly they are expected to do when going for an interview. Now, the question is, how do you make yourself relevant? How do you make yourself important? Knowing quite well that there are a number of people coming for that same position, and you know it is just one spot. The simple truth is you have to be prepared. And when I say prepare, it means you have to put in your time. Put in that extra time, because take note, from the moment you apply for a position and the time in which you are asked to come for an interview, no organization will tell you come for an interview immediately that same day that they are sending you an invite. Sometimes it is majorly the next day or 2 days after, or sometimes 3 or 4 days after. Now, what are these things that you as a person should do when you want to go for an interview? For me, what I do is, first of all, once I get the invite that I am to come for an interview, the first thing I do is I go to the page of that organization. I go to their website and I Google everything about them, from their inception, what they've done, what they've achieved, how is the business functioning. You need to know all these things, because no employer wants somebody that is coming into his organization that does not have or knows one or two things about them. So for you, the applicant that is coming, you should always have this information at the back of your hand, things that you know about the company itself. Because there's the likely question that they might ask you, what do you know about us? And they expect you to tell them concrete things about their inception, how they have been able to develop over the years, their manpower, their equity base, if it is a banking industry, their clientele base, their achievement. You should have all these things at your fingertips so that it gives you an edge over other applicants that are also vying for that position. Then another thing, again, they always ask you, why do you want to leave your company? Why do you want to leave your present company? Yes, it is expected that you are being asked why you want to leave your present company. But the question is, what is the right answer to say to make the new employer to say, okay, fine, this person is not just being desperate to leave where he was or where he is, to say, okay, he wants to join my own company. You should be able to tell them your immense contribution, why you feel you are good enough for that position, in the sense that your intellect, ability, what you have achieved, the knowledge you have acquired, and you also let them understand that based on the information you have gathered, again, concerning them, you tell them about their structure, the vast knowledge of people they have in the organization, the vast knowledge of wealth they have gathered, and you like to work with this type of people based on the same knowledge you have gathered, because you're coming in as somebody that you feel you have well amassed knowledge of experience. So you should also say, okay, I'm coming to your organization, one, because I want to be among the set of calibers that think alike, aspire to break barriers, to push the employer's organization to greater heights. Now, that is one again. Then another thing, they might ask you, tell us about yourself. The mistake most people do is that they start talking about their personal life. Nobody wants to hear about your personal life. When an employer asks you, tell us about yourself, he's talking about your professional achievement, what you have been able to achieve over your course of working in your present and your previous organization, your experience that you have gathered. And these are the things that you should be mentioning when somebody say, oh, tell us about yourself. Oh, my name is John Efezoka Ramosele. I am currently the head so of so organization, and I have been working for so number of years, and throughout this period that I just mentioned, these are the things that I've been able to achieve. You should be able to specify. And another tips again is this: if you are if you are going for an interview where figures can be placed, where actual value can be placed on that position that you're going for based on the job description, you should be able to make mention the exact figures that you have been able to achieve over the years in your previous organization and present ones. If you are a credit manager, for example, in your current organization, you should be able to tell them what your outstanding deposit is, your outstanding credit portfolio is, your portfolio at risk, the percentage, the actual volume. This will give your employer the confidence to say, oh, this person in question actually knows what he's talking about, because it is expected of us to have all this information at our fingertips, even while you are sleeping. If somebody should wake you and say, hey, what is your current clientele as of today, you should be able to say these things. And these are the things that it is expected of you to say when you go for interviews. Another tip again is that when they ask you, okay, why do you think you are important for this role? Like I said, you should be able to tell them based on the experience you have gathered and what you think you can contribute to the organization. These are the things that will give you that edge to say, okay, this employer will say, oh, this person actually is bringing such and such to the table. Another point again is they might ask you, okay, so based on all this information you've told us, how much do you think you are expecting as salary? It's a tricky question, but do not fall victim for it, because one, if you just say out the number, it shows that you are a bit desperate. Don't ever make that mistake to just say, okay, once they ask you, oh, how much do you think we can pay you? And you just come out and you say, okay, this is what I am expecting. No. If a wise applicant will always throw the question back in a very polite and gentle manner by saying, okay, I know your organization is a bit structured, and I do not know what the organization is willing to pay, and I believe there is a peg for this position. I don't know what is the likely pay for such position. You see, in a way, you have craftily pushed it back to the employer, and the employer will now tell you, okay, we are open to negotiation. You see, it will now tell you, okay, we are open to negotiation. Then you can now say, okay, fine. Based on the fact that you are open to negotiation, I think with this position and with the vast of wealth of experience that I'm coming in, I feel such and such number will be considerable for me to be in that position. Now, one viable thing people, applicants do or make as a mistake during interview is that after the entire interview question, they now ask you, what, do you have any question for us? Some applicant will say no. And some applicant will actually ask questions. The truth of the matter is, no employer wants somebody that asks a lot of questions. Rather, when they ask you, do you have any question for us? You should tell them you have a contribution based on what you have gathered on their web. Because take note, no organization is perfect. Every employer wants to see how intellectually smart you are. So based on what you have seen in their website, you can also add cheap one or two information by saying, oh, I think if I'm coming to your organization, based on what I have seen so far, knowing quite well that I am going to be part of your organization, because you should be already telling them to an extent that you want to be part of the organization. And when you're doing so, it shows that you're already becoming a team player, and you give them one or two information about the organization that you feel if they do A and B, it will take them to C. So don't ever make that mistake by saying, when they ask you, what do you have any question for us? And you start asking them, oh, what is your structure like? No. Instead, make contributions. And I can assure you, you will be the best. The most mistake people make is that they go for an interview showing the employer that, oh, please hire me. What you should do when you're going for an interview is make the employer see reasons why he cannot overlook you. Because take note, you are not the best, but how you present yourself and how you structure your information and how you compose everything into a simple sentence speaks volume on your behalf. Because you just have one shot at it, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and the interview is done. So it is something that you should practice over and over. If you have an interview, you can call your husband to be part of to help you out. You sit, you write all the likely questions based on the tips that I've given you, and you see how well you have done by practicing beforehand. Remember, practice makes perfect, and if you continue to do this, I can assure you there is no interview you will go to where you will not be the successful candidate. It's your boy once again, Agobor for Life, aka Swagger, aka John, aka F. Joe, coming to you with just simple tips on how to pass interview questions. Until the next time, please subscribe, drop your comment, please share my link, because without you guys, there is no John Swagger. And it is because of you guys that I'm doing all this. Thank you all for your time, and until I see you in the next one, please remain blessed. Bye.